Thank you guys for coming. So this is the Tricking Legends panel. So the main goal is to dive into the minds of the trickers who have seen generations of tricking. We've collected a bunch of questions, and we're going to be using that to dive into some deep conversations about tricking. I want this to be an open discussion, so while they're going to have a chance to speak, if you guys want to add something to the conversation, or if you guys have a question that you want to pose to them, feel free to ask. We can pass the mics around. We can make sure that those are being heard. All right. So let's first start off with some introductions. I'm going to have the mic just passed down. And I want you to say who you are, where you're from, and how many years you've been tricking.
Hello, everybody. My name is Neil Toussaint. I represent Trick Strong. Thank you. I have been tricking for 19 years now, I believe. 2005 is when I started. And I was actually born very close to here. I was born in Union, so like 20, 30 minutes away from here. So I'm a Jersey tricker originally, and now I live in Atlanta.
Hello everybody, my name is Gabby Macias. I'm from the DMV. Yes, I'm from the DMV. I started tricking in 2005, technically. I didn't meet trickers until 2007. And then I didn't start becoming part of the community and going to my first gatherings and stuff until 2009. And co-founder of Euphoria Tricking.
Hi everyone, I'm Trisha, also Euphoria Tricking, originally from the DMV. And now I'm in Connecticut. I've been tricking since 2000, technically 2007, 8 I've been around, but yeah.
I'm Nick Vale. I'm from Colorado, informally representing Colorado Tricking. I did my first tricks in 1995, that's 29 years, but I stopped doing martial arts only tricking in 2005, so about 19 years.
And hello everybody, my name is Vello Saarela. I'm from Tampere, Finland, and I've been tricking since January 2005, so closing in with 20 years soon. Representing Legend Trick Gym and Legend Trick Entertainment.
My name is Jaime Colon. I've been tricking for about 23 years now, since 2001, but I could do like aerials and stuff like that since 1996. So yeah, I've been in this for quite a while. I'm from Massachusetts, representing Furious Force and Trick Dynamics. Yeah.
Hello, my name's Kojo. I'm from Birmingham in the UK, and I've been tricking since June 2010, and I'm very into tricking, coaching, and creating media for tricking.
Hey guys, my name is Vios Skredis. It's a huge honor to be included on this panel among these legends, so thank you. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I've been tricking since 2008, about 16 years, and yeah.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Will Conies, aka Kid Wolf Conies. I am from the DMV. I've been tricking for about 17, 18 years now. And I come from the same loving family as Gabby and Trisha and Carla and Scarlett. So.
Hello, my name is Ish Payne, representing Martial Posture Studio in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I've been doing martial arts since '89, but then tricking. Yeah, thanks, Will. I guess I discovered tricking with something called the Ernie Reyes Action Team back in. I'm gonna guess 2002. I'm gonna say I've been tricking since 2002, informally. Thank you.
All right. So in total, we have up here 185 years of tricking. Wow! That's a lot of tricking. Real quick, if we can use that microphone mainly, instead of that one. So you can pass that one around. All right, so let's just get started with the first question. If you have something to say or want to speak on it, we'll pass the mic to you. Question one is just, what are your thoughts on the skill level in tricking from when you first started versus now?
Dude, I came from an era where it was like 540, aerials, cork, and we used to joke about the stuff that you guys do now. We used to joke about it. These quad corks, triple corks, swing through triple corks. Like, it's insane. The skill level has, yeah, it's very impressive. It's crazy.
Okay, so for example, I have like a really good example of Toronto gathering in 2005 where we were coming up with creative combos. And I remember one person in that conversation named Matt Frederico was like, could you imagine someone doing a double beat twist swing through double cork? And we're like, no, that's impossible. And then it was like done like within a year. So now, fast forward to today, you guys are like swinging triples and stuff like that. Like, come on. Skill level now is much higher than we ever would have imagined back in the day. Like, it's just crazy. Doing good, crazy things these days.
There was this video by John LeBlanc, rest in peace. He made an animation of like ridiculous tricks that we thought were so impossible.
Just use that mic. Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. That were so impossible, but if you look at it now, a lot of those tricks are happening. So like that's what tricking looks like now. It's insane.
This is my content mic, sorry. Yeah, I want to piggyback off what Ishpain was saying because I was joking about scoot double back and full ins and stuff. That was one of my favorite jokes, and now I can't make it anymore, so thanks, guys. Yeah, like, I think there were more quad corkers now. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Jaime, but I think there's more quad corkers now than there were double corkers when I started. Like, I actually think there was. Like in 2005, how many people were doing double cork? Like 5 people maybe at most? So yeah, that's the skill level now.
Even from like the learning curve, like if you just start tricking today, you're gonna be so much better than like if this was like 2006 or something. It took like when I said I technically started tricking in 2005, but I didn't really get involved like with people until like 2007, is because I feel like those formative years don't count like as a tricker. It was just more like when you first started, the learning curve was just so different that it took a long time to be comfortable doing certain tricks, and then you get involved with the community, and then it's like, boom, you boost. But nowadays, it's like, you come to a gathering like Vertigo's your first gathering, and then you start landing all this, I don't know, it's just crazy, because it's the standards just much higher, so everything seems more attainable. So it's just, you progress to that much quicker versus back in the day when all of this was just an idea. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Especially access to all the tutorials. Kojo. Yeah, like I feel like.
Is there anybody in the audience that has been tricking for, I want to say 3 years or less, that would like to share? Oh, nice. Yeah. Keep your hands up. Would any of you like to share your experience with like learning tricking now? Yeah. I can pass the mic back. Okay, sure.
So I discovered tricking roughly like 2018-ish through Plan Zero. I had no flipping experience. I couldn't do anything at all. I think I looked up like a GMS tutorial. I was like, nah, this is gonna be so easy. I could not even do anything at all. I was like, this is so hard. I'm never gonna be able to do this. And so I stopped for a long time, and then at the end of 2021 is when I first started actually like really tricking. I met some of the people that I trick with all the time, And through community, I think it was a lot easier to like actually get good because I was going alongside with like a lot of my friends and stuff, and they were way, way better than me. But I think it's a lot easier to get good now because there's so many people that are just so amazing at tricking, and you can watch them. There's so many different people you can pull inspiration from. That's something that Thorne was talking about. And I think that, shout out Kojo yet once again, I think Kojo's Trick Lab really did a number for my tricking where I just was watching tutorials every single day. I was stretching every day. I was super passionate about it. And so after, roughly 2 years, like I can double cork now and I can do all sorts of stuff like that. And I have so much fun with the sport. And I think that starting is just so much easier.
Short side tangent, what are some tutorials that you guys watched?
The sport martial arts tutorials that you download from the website, and it was like a single trick, and I don't know, it's just, they were helpful and stuff, but it was like, first you do this, and then you do that, now you got it, your turn. So it's like,
To that point, it felt like those tutorials at the time were more of a description of the trick. Like you lift your leg, you jump, you spin, and you kick, and that's how you do it. And now we have way more sophisticated learning tech. So kudos to you guys that are doing the work now.
When I started, I couldn't really speak English, and there was only English tutorials. So I found Tricks tutorials and Juji Mufu, and he had those tutorials where there was a picture by picture of each trick and the text for each picture. And I translated with the dictionary the text and made a word file for myself in Finnish from 540, from B-twist, and that's how I started learning. So how much time it took, you can imagine the amount of work to just figure out the tips for the 540.
At the time, like the prime time of my learning for tricking, there weren't any tutorials. There was not one. So I just kind of had to rely on my own intuition and like just watching videos in slow-mo over and over again to do that. By the time tutorials came out, I was getting more into like coaching it, and the moves that I was struggling with, even with the tutorial, I was finding not much success with. But yeah, I use tutorials now more for coaching, like the next generation of trickers.
No, I absolutely agree on that. And when I started, because I started officially I started around 2006, 2007. That was like right as YouTube was beginning. So there really weren't too many tutorials. Like me and Gabby and a lot of our friends, we were in martial arts studio watching VHS tapes of competitions, of like NASCA competitions, and learning from those. And then you had sites like Club 540 and Belang, and they had very limited tutorials, but those were some of the most, informative for that time period. And so, I would train during school, watching these as much as I could, kind of stealing some screen time on my teacher's computer to go out and watch them. And they helped us in that moment when there really weren't too many.
And now they got YouTube, Kojo's Trick Lab, and how many, there's a couple of gym owners now for just tricking gym. That was not a thing. Highly inspirational. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, sorry, to add to that last point, when I first started, I watched a lot of tutorials. I loved Juji Mufu, but I also was lucky enough to grow up right beside where Team Ryuko was. If some of you guys are, the older trickers will be more familiar with Team Ryuko probably, but they had classes that were like extreme martial arts and tricking, which was like super rare for the time, but now there's more classes like that around, which is cool to see. There's actual tricking schools, tricking programs, so it's a very different world from 15 years ago to now.
Yeah. All right, next question. That's cool.
I just want to shout out to Juji, because that completely changed my life, honestly. Because I just wanted to learn a backflip randomly. I just saw a backflip in a movie, like a TV movie even. I don't even remember which one it was. And I was like, I want to do that. So I looked up on the 56K internet. It took an hour to download this tutorial, like this Juji tutorial, and it was a backflip tutorial. And then I saw all what tricking was, like all the other options. It's like, wait, I can flip in other directions? And so I was like, yo, what is this? And so that completely changed my life. So tutorials are, yeah, they're the gateway to tricking. So thank you again, Kojo. And thank you to everybody who's putting content out there to help people learn this crazy sport.
And shout out to Juji Mufu.
And yes, shout out to Juji Mufu for sure.
And then just to put things into perspective, like Ish mentioned, like all of this like was before YouTube. YouTube, like we all remember when YouTube came out. Like we were already functioning humans, and then YouTube came. So it's all this, none of, and then even on the early YouTube days, like it wasn't that accessible. So we relied a lot on these tricking specific websites that people would upload their tutorials to. So, and nowadays we have people that like really break it down, but like Nick was saying earlier, it was just kind of like everyone's perspective on how to do a trick versus breaking it down like step by step. But before YouTube.
All right, next question. All right, so this one's gonna be a little bit more about the future of tricking. In your experience, how has tricking plateaued since you first started, aside from the tricks? And are the plateaus things that we could fix?
Yeah, I think tricking's improved in a lot of ways, like with the skill level. The event organization has gotten much, much better since I started. But compared to my first event I went to in 2011, there's a similar amount of people here now. So overall, like the size of tricking it's not really improved that much. It's not too noticeable. And I think that's mainly down to a lack of media in our sport. I think we don't have many things that bring people into the sport. Compared to something like parkour, where they have constant films coming out, they have people making vlogs, really high quality ones, every single week from multiple different teams, and we really don't have much. So it's quite hard for people to find out about tricking and get drawn into it. So I think we need a lot more of that to get people into the sport, really. But yeah.
And so I think to build on that, we don't have, like you're saying, we don't have a lot of information on tricking that's out there. And one of the ways that we've plateaued is that we've been doing all of this on our best guess. Almost every event is grown on looking back on it and seeing what can we do better. As good as we are about sharing information about tricking and what's working for us, nutrition, tutorials, things like that, we don't do a good job sharing best practices. And it's not anything malicious, it's just, I'm sure Mike can say this, like it is unreal how hard it is to run an event, a local event, much less something to this caliber. There's only so many hours in the day, there's only so much you can think about when doing this analysis, and so now doing this higher level analysis, this is a plateau we have. This kind of goes into the next question we're gonna get asked, and I'll expand on it there, but we are only having the conversations we can in almost a mode of survival, right? We're really just going from year to year, month to month, like we're just trying to keep our head above water as a community. It's not like Korea, it's not like Japan, some of these places, like in Korea, there's full-on investment in the infrastructure by the government. And so if you want to see what tricking could be, take a look at Korea. Like that is an incredible situation. I'm getting goosebumps actually thinking about it. I mean, there are gym chains that have 12, 13 gyms that are competing with the guy across the street. Wow. That's crazy, right? And we just don't have that. We're so isolated. So I think this is a plateau that we need to break through. And it's not entirely clear how we do that yet.
Yeah, so I agree with everything you guys said. I think it's also maybe the business side of things that has plateaued, right? The skills have gotten amazing, but I'll tell you, running a business or running an event, it's a totally different ball game. How can we get more exposure while maintaining, triggers are about like the values and keeping it real and keeping it like about the culture or whatnot, but there's like, there's things in business you may have to do that don't always, that may not seemingly align with all of that. So I've been thinking this in my mind, do we want it to get big, because then we might lose control of it. The thing that you love, do you want a big corporation getting their hands on it? So, I don't know, this is just something I think about.
Mike, can I have a perspective from the people upstairs?
Sure.
Yeah, one more quick one. I think just overall more demand for tricking would solve a lot of our problems in general. If there were for example, if there were 5 times as many people who are really passionate about tricking, it means all of the events would have a lot easier time running. They'd be able to sell out. It means different tricking businesses would have way more potential customers. It means more people could open gyms because it would be easier to fill classes. We'd have more tricking media because there'd be more people in the sport, so we get more people with that skill set doing it. Everything would be better if more people were interested in tricking, in my opinion, and it would solve most of the problems that we have.
I agree with Kojo. I wrote notes for myself about the tricking media, that there isn't enough people, and I was using the parkour as a comparison as well when thinking about it, that the eyeballs watching tricking on a daily basis is just so small compared to many other sports. So we need people who are filming the videos when trickers are getting together, because that's how tricking was growing, by making samplers and running gatherings. So I think that's what we should keep on doing as well. But now samplers are maybe not the way to go to reach the most people, so there should be small, easier biteable footage in Instagram and vlogs and whatever is working nowadays. But also to the fact about the tricking businesses, that those have plateaued, definitely. And I think the problem is that most of the trickers, when they grow over their teenage years and they start adulting, they slowly drift away from tricking. So if we want tricking to grow, we need those trickers who make their living around tricking, by running the events, by running an online business, by running a tricking gym or performing as a tricker, because that's the only way that you can actually keep on dedicating your daily life for a long period of time, for decades, for tricking and making it grow.
Hi, I'm Andrew Ellis. I'm the host of Trial by Fire. On the question of plateau and growth of the sport, I wanted to contribute from a slightly different perspective. I am also a b-boy. I started breaking in 2012, and then I started tricking in about 2022. And looking at the parallel of the two sports, breaking started roughly late 70s, early 80s, and here we are just this year. We had our debut in the Olympics, and there's mixed opinions even concerning that. A lot of the OGs and breaking were concerned with, is this going to deteriorate the value of what the essence of the sport, the culture, and there's certain compromises you have to make when it comes to growing the sport. So I think that's both an individualistic question, there's certain things that each of us might gain from tricking that benefit us, and perhaps it's better that it remains in this pool, or the collective essence of what it is now, versus where do we want it to go. And how many of you know who Ray Gun is? Yeah, the Australian dancer. So I don't know, I still feel like breaking is largely being misconstrued. I'm looking at people like Phil Wizard and our very own Victor, B-Boy Victor, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. And they choose the one kangaroo hop, and that's I don't know. So like when we put ourselves on a platform for others to judge, we're kind of subject to what they have to say. And I don't know. Is ray gun a bad thing? Who's to say? Maybe ultimately that is a stepping stone to, becoming more of a solidified place in the Olympics, maybe in a professional realm.
Adding on to that point of like, as tricking is growing and as we get more exposure, like to the layperson, I guess, like somebody who's not exposed to tricking, I think something that can help with plateauing is us keeping the culture alive, and that just means gathering culture. Back in the day, gatherings were very intimate. You used to know it was your opportunity to meet and train with your hero, spend some time with them, and then go home with like a personal story that you have about them. Nowadays, there's not as much, there's so many people, it's not a problem, but there's just a slight lack of intimacy. And that lack of intimacy could be something that if we don't preserve this one thing that we love so much and are passionate about, if it falls in the wrong hands, then they're going to try and represent us. But all of us, not just everybody up here, if you are passionate about this sport, then you can do something as well. You can be a representative. If you have that fire in your heart, then use it, because otherwise, then that guy that just, like in a suit that just applied for the job got it. You know what I mean? Like, we have to step up and do that. That can help the sport grow much more.
Cool. So before you talk, can I just real quick? So the next question was, what is something that you think tricking needs, can acquire soon, but doesn't have yet? I feel like we're already talking about that. So if we could just answer or keep talking through the lens of the next question.
No, that's perfect, actually. I was just going to have a call to action. I was going to be very brief because, we're all rambling. But when I think people are there's a lot of fear involved with change, right? So we don't want tricking to become something different or whatever else. And also, we think that when we're done tricking, when we're not able to anymore due to injury or age or whatever else, that you have to just stop tricking. But that's not true. You can be creative. There are outlets that we already have right now that you can do similar media type things, but there are things that we haven't even thought of yet, ways to contribute to tricking that, we haven't done. Maybe somebody can make some braces specifically for tricking, or, what I'm trying to say is that if you're very passionate about it and you want to be involved in tricking, you don't have to stop being involved in tricking. You can always combine your passions. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about that. It's like, tricking is freedom, and we get to do whatever we want pretty much. And that's why I like tricking so much, and a lot of other things. Life, we get to choose what we want to do, right? So you can combine your passions with whatever professional thing that you come to love and do, or with tricking itself, or with content creation, or with, like I said, anything you have not even thought of yet. Just try to combine your passions and see what happens, and you can contribute to tricking as long as you want, That's pretty much all I got to say.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. That was my favorite part about running Euphoria gatherings. We just gathered everyone who was passionate about tricking and something else so that we can support them in that. We had someone who was passionate in cooking, Shay over here, so he provided food for the whole gathering, providing healing for our gathering, providing battles, like people are passionate about battles because we hate it. Someone is, Streets and Mike, so yeah.
So at risk of going into the next question, I'll try not to, but to add to Neil's point, a few other points. Tricking is really pretty small right now, so that means any individual can have a large action and a large reaction within the community. So I would argue that your skill set is the least important thing in tricking. Your high five, your ability to have an intimate experience. I rarely remember the tricks that were done on the floor, but I do remember who gave me a high five. And so to the high-level trickers out here, your best trick is your high five. It is not your triple cork. Please use it, call to action, right? Now the second thing that I wanted to touch on, and I'll be brief, is that what you were saying, Neil, and what you guys were saying about combining the things and not letting tricking end on the floor. I haven't done tricks in, almost a decade, right? But I'm I spend hours every single week working on tricking. I focus on the data. It's something we don't have. We don't have a unified data set, and we can't make data-driven decisions. This is a problem I'm like hell-bent on solving. And so I think that this adds a lot to tricking. There's food, there's the healing center, there's like health practices, there's all kinds of things that like Kojo's doing. This is what we need in tricking. This helps us break through the plateaus, is the non-tricking things. We've broken through plenty of plateaus on the floor, and it's the stuff off the floor that's stopping us from moving forward. And you guys have way more power over that than like even we do. And so I think the power's out there, it's not up here, in breaking through the plateaus that we've been seeing.
I think one thing that we should be doing that we could do quite easily is having national and international championships and calling them that. I think this should just be called the International Tricking Championship. This should be for the champion of the world. Because when you say that, it makes it so much easier for people who win and place well at these events to use that to their advantage. Like, for example, there was recently a UK Tricking Championship in Scotland. It wasn't like a complex thing. They just ran it at a gym. We didn't have loads of regional qualifiers. It was just who showed up, competed, and then they were the champion. But it ended up being in the paper on the Isle of Wight how well their students did. Now, if we didn't call it that, if it was just a normal gathering and they won the battles at the gathering, that wouldn't have happened. Stuff like that's great for parental support. If they can say that their kid is the national champion, then it's going to get mentioned at the school, it's going to be in like bulletin posts and stuff like that, and it's just better for things outside of the sport. It doesn't actually matter if they really are, if it really is the world championship, if there's people missing, that doesn't matter. It's just way more valuable to the sport if we call it that, and I think people shouldn't be afraid to run national and international championships and call them that. It's not going to be perfect, you're not going to have everything in place, but it's a lot better than nothing.
Yes.
Very nice point from Kojo. I think we should do it, and also something for all the local communities, what I think should be done for tricking. For years and for decades, there has been the problem that I hear from people, oh, we don't have the gym access, the gymnasts won't let us train. So the local communities need to step up and organize open sessions where people train together. Because when trickers are together, they come up with different ideas, they start to collaborate. So you need to step up on your own local communities, organize the sessions, hopefully organize some tricking classes as well, so it's much easier for new people to come in, and slowly you turn them from the classes into real trickers who join the open sessions and gatherings. So that's what's needed all around the world.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's being said, and just an observation that I've made over the years that I've been in tricking is usually when people get together, either they form like a team. It's usually when they form a team that opportunities for them start to open up like really fast. And the thing is, I mean, if money's a problem or logistics with traveling is a problem, when you have like multiple people that you're planning these things with, it becomes a lot easier. So one thing, I think that helps out, like within the local community, but then like also doing that with a team, you're able to travel around and like kind of scope out what people are doing around like the national level or international level. And then you guys have like a really good grasp on like what the needs are of the greater community at like a particular point in time. So like I've been around, like I said, for like 2 decades, but at the same time, if I was gonna throw an event like next year, I don't know what you guys want or like what you want from the event, but you guys know. So I think it's like really important that you guys get together, form teams, you know, split costs of things or run your own events and stuff like that. So even like us here up on this panel can learn from you guys. Like you're the ones who are really in control over like the vibe and like where tricking is gonna go like the next decade or whatever.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next question. Thanks, guys. So question 4. Can you ever truly quit tricking? And if so, do you have a plan for life after tricking?
I like this question. So I like to joke that, when I finally stop tricking, I'm going to have a cabin in the woods with a husky, a cellar full of honey buns, and just disappear. That is my plan. That's been my plan. But in a very serious note, I don't think you can ever really quit tricking. Everybody that's here is here because tricking called out to you in whatever way, shape, and form. And, being up here with these guys, some of us been doing this for 2 decades, some of us just a little under 15 years, but the fact that we're still here, in a sport that is rapidly changing, evolving, and growing. And not only that, life happens, we grow up, if we ever grow up, we get jobs, have families, things like that. And I see it happening more and more that with that being the case, people are still coming to gatherings. They're still in the community. They're still talking to people, trying to kind of keep up with the times. I think we will never truly quit tricking. We may slow down a little bit. We may find different avenues for it, but once you're a tricker at heart. It'll never leave you. It'll never leave you. We are the superheroes that we wanted to be as kids, except now we're older and we can afford the spandex outfits to go jump around in the gym with. So, that's true.
Right. Dick?
Yes, and I think in particular the impact that tricking has on you. So I often say, like, I didn't have like a dad or an older brother or someone like that I should have been basing myself off of in my formative years, but I had this. And so the school system kind of failed me, and I didn't think that I could learn, and tricking taught me how I learned. And so when I was able to leave tricking as an athlete, I was able to apply it. It turns out I was actually very good at learning. I've done a lot since I've left tricking and doing the tricks, rather. And so I think the impact tricking has on you is super unique, right? Like, there's some kind of stimulus in this crowd that every person probably should get, like, and it's gonna come from different people. We grow so much when we're around this many perspectives from this many places in the world. I mean, we all probably know somebody that never left their hometown, right? And I can go talk to someone from France, I can go talk to somebody from Asia, from Finland. Like, I can learn about the world without going through some source that may have a lens that is not, great. And so that impact, I think, will never leave you. And my plan for after tricking, for life after tricking, is to lean into that and try and build the opportunity for other people to have that same influence. Tricking was my older brother, not the one that I had, right? And tricking was the best older brother I could have, right? And so everything that I do is focused on, yes, I live my life, my wife, we're having a kid soon, like, I'm focused on the family. Thank you. I'm excited to be a girl dad. Thank you. And so, yes, it's these things, but also the way that I approach that relationship has been impacted by tricking. And so it'll never leave me. And I think that it's a charge of ours to make sure that other people get that opportunity, because the reach is kind of small right now, and it should be bigger. And so that's ultimately my plan. I can't speak for everyone else here, but we want to add accessibility to our situation so other people can get what we got out of it.
Can I ever quit tricking? Oh my God. I don't think so. So for me, I've been tricking for a long time, slowing down as one does. But being involved in a community and being around tricking, calling myself a tricker, I don't think that's really gonna end. And I know many of the people that I came up with share like a very similar mindset to me as well about that. And the thing that's most exciting though about this community is that we're not even close to like reaching any kind of like ceiling with like skill. And it's really exciting to like come to an event like this and it's like, oh, what's so-and-so gonna do? Like that kind of thing. Like that just seems to never have like a limit. So I think that's like something really unique and special about tricking and why I always want to be around it. I just want to see what the heck you guys are going to do next.
Physically, you might be able. You're going to have to eventually.
I don't know.
like to quit. Like, physically, we're going to have to quit. That's what I'm saying, just physically. But it's earlier in my life, it was a big part of my life. But now it's just kind of a piece of a bigger picture that is the life of Ish Payne. But like, for example, I met my wife trying to learn how to backflip. She was a gymnastics coach early on in tricking before, we had all these tutorials. I was calling all the local gyms, hey, teach me how to backflip. So we had my son, Michael. Come on up, Michael. And this is how I live on through tricking. So it never ends. It never ends. It never truly ends.
I would also like to say something real quick. We think of tricking a lot as the tricks that we do, right? It's the triple corks or double B twists or whatever, right? But I think we can all agree that a lot of tricking is the mindset. It's trying to work on something really, really hard and then doing it and then feeling that satisfaction of doing it. Like, I just did something that not very many people in the world can do, right? So if we apply that to any other part of our lives, I think that's also tricking. When I run Vertigo, like, my mindset is almost the exact same as when I finish a session, right? I'm thinking, all right, this was an amazing setup, but like, oh, this one thing could be improved. This other thing could be improved. What did somebody else say that I can apply to maybe next year, right? And with that, like, Vertigo is part of my tricking.
We learned a trick, and we don't just like do a backflip, never do it again. We do the backflip till we can never get it wrong. This is what I was missing in school. And so I dropped out of high school and came back to school when I was like 26 and applied that mentality. And I got degrees in math, physics, and astrophysics after being told I couldn't learn. And I owe that to tricking. And so everyone here has every skill that you already need. Every skill that you already need to be the best version of what you can be, and way better than anyone ever thought from the outside looking in. So I hope you feel empowered. Mike has shown it with how he's done this. We've all shown it in different ways. For me, I think I'm actually better at that stuff than I ever was at tricking. But it's tricking that taught me how to be great at that. So just adding context, here you go.
Really good point. I just wanted to add to that last thought as well that, like, tricking's not just a physical aspect, right? And if injuries or life forces you to have to put tricking on hold physically, you still belong at gatherings and you belong at sessions and wherever you want to be, because it's not just the physical, that's like the least important part.
I want to add one last thing. Like, for me, I'm at my happiest when I'm in a room full of people like this. This is when I'm at my happiest. Like, we go through life, we go through our daily struggles, everybody deals with something different. But when I'm in a room full of people like this, growing up when I was with my friends, focusing on tricks, focusing on just going beyond the limits of human possibility, that was where I was at my happiest. And even now, like, I look out in this room and there is nothing else in the world that brings me more joy than to see faces looking back at me doing the same thing that I love. That makes me happy, and that is why I feel like being a tricker will never end, because the more we keep looking at each other, the more we fall in love with it. The more we fall in love with it.
Last couple points.
Yep. Couldn't have described what tricking means to me better than how Mike just said it before. Like, seriously, that just resonated with me. I just had to say that. And also, to the point where the Trick Strong logo is what you described. Like, the fire is the passion we all have. and there's an enzo, which is a Japanese calligraphy sign that represents community and strength and being in the moment, because when you do the enzo sign, you're doing it with one stroke. So it's never gonna be perfect, and it represents a single moment in time. And basically what I'm trying to say is that that mindset of the passion that we have spreads out to our community, and it spreads out beyond the physical aspects of tricking. And that is the most beautiful thing to me, and that's what I've gotten from tricking, and I'll continue to get it till I'm not alive anymore. It's just like that mindset, and I just wanted to highlight that, and I'm gonna save that video, and because you articulated it perfectly, so thank you.
Adding to that thought, you can't really get rid of a sport that's had such an impact in your life. So like a lot of these people, like Scarlett and Carla and Will and like Trish and Neil, like we all grew up together. I met Will my first day of middle school. Like if he wasn't part of my life, I don't know like who I would be. So you go to these events, like there was a point in my life, like Trish and I, we go to visit you. We go like to a gathering like once a month. So you make like all these friends, you make all these, you just create opportunities together, and then like all my best friends in tricking are doing something in tricking. So Trick Strong, Trick Dynamics, we're doing Euphoria together. Everybody has their own brand, everybody has something that they can contribute, and you look around at like the people that you're hanging out with, and if they help you become the person that you are. So I can't leave tricking, I just physically can't, and like all my friends are doing it. Who would I be if I like, hey guys, have fun at the session? Like no, like this is part of my life. And like the more gatherings that you guys go to, and like the more you involve yourself in the sport, you can't leave. You can't leave. Can't.
Yeah, so I had a couple other questions, but honestly, I feel like this is a really, really solid point to end on. We're also at time. If anybody has anything that they want to respond to what, yeah.
Okay, I'm Carla. I'm an ex-Euphoria member, also started training in 2000 something. I was in like 5th grade. I don't trick anymore at all, really, because I hurt my back. So I think I just wanted to reiterate what they've all been saying. Like, I don't trick. I'll do a Gumby every once in a while, but I don't trick. It doesn't feel good on my body. I just turned 30. Like, you will be there one day too, maybe. Probably not. But I cannot leave. My husband is David Fisher. We are together because of tricking. My sister is Kojo's wife. Like, my family alone is a tricking army. But like, those are my best friends. Like, what you all need to do in your communities, especially if you're newer into tricking, is just really nurture your home community. Like, we are here because we were lucky to be born into the DMV community. Imagine that. That's so crazy. We were just there, but you guys can do that in your own areas, and like have, like Jaime was saying, like Furious Force, TDX, like you have to create your crew, and if you already have it, that's so great, but just like grow it there, and then this will continue to grow because you bring your crew, and like, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I don't know. Okay, bye.
All right, and with that, we will close out the Tricking Legends panel. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope, if anything, you just took one piece of information and reflect that on your life, on your tricking, on your training, your community, anything. And yeah.